of his defection on Wednesday, February 12, 2014, my host today says, quote, "It was not easy to leave a party that I nurtured to such an enviable position. The All Progressives Congress, APC, is undemocratic," end of quote. So, will defecting to the People's Democratic Party, PDP, improve his political fortunes in the 2015 governorship elections? Well, hello and welcome. This is 60 Minutes with me, Angela Jetumobi. I thank you for joining me on the program today. Conferred with the rank of Senior Advocate of Nigeria at the age of 40 in the year 2001, my host today obtained a Bachelor of Laws degree from the University of Hull and a Masters of Law degree from Bristol University, both in England. He was called to the Nigerian bar in 1985. He attained the status of a notary public in 1997. He's a fellow of the Chartered Institute of Arbitrators, and he is the current chairman of the Nigerian branch of the Chartered Institute of Arbitrators. In 2011, he was the candidate of the Action Congress of Nigeria, ACN, in the governorship election in Kwara State. That's in the north central region of Nigeria. At the time, he said, quote, "Our people want the type of good governance taking place in Lagos and Edo states." He wanted to liberate the state from poverty, ignorance, unemployment, fear, and a dim future. So on Wednesday, February 12, when he defected from the APC to the PDP because of what he calls an alleged injustice meted out to him and those who labored to sustain the APC in Kwara State, I'm here today to ask him, what injustice is that? He says it's unfair for the structure of the APC in Kwara State to be handed over to those who, in his opinion, had been, quote, "oppressing and impoverishing residents of the state," end of quote. The question, therefore, is, can Kwara State be won solely by the PDP without the Saraki factor? Was the APC, whom he previously represented in a previous election, not acknowledging the strength of the Saraki factor when its interim national leadership allegedly directed all existing members of the legacy parties that formed the APC to work with Saraki as the political leader of the state? So join me after the break. I'm counting down 60 minutes with Dele Belgore, a senior advocate of Nigeria. Welcome back. Welcome, Mr. Belgore. Thank you very much for coming on 60 Minutes with me.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Now, let's start from your defection and work our way backwards. Well, by the way, let me just apologize for keeping you waiting in Kwara State the other day. I know that you really wanted this interview to happen in Kwara State, but because I'm a working mom, you know, these things happen. But I'm happy that you're seeing me in Lagos anyway.
Well, it's always a pleasure to see you, and I fully understand that. Hopefully, next interview will be in Kwara. I understand that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So let's start from the point of your defection. On Wednesday, February 12th, you defected from the APC to the PDP. You spoke of an alleged injustice meted out to you and to those you say who labored to sustain the APC in Kwara State. What injustice was that?
Well, first of all, let us not personalize this. There was an injustice to me as a person, Dele Belgore. So right. I want to make that clear.
Yes.
The injustice was to the group that I represent, and this group being those who have been in the APC and who have nurtured it to what it was. And when we talk injustice, yes, we're not speaking in abstraction now. I mean, or we're not merely being emotional. What we're saying is that political parties must follow a democratic path. And a democratic path was not followed in this particular instance. And that is the context in which I want us to look at the injustice.
Okay, you say a democratic path was not followed. Is that because you are not happy that you said the party structure was handed over to those who have just defected to the APC? So is it not natural then that those defectors to the APC should be handed the party structure, having handed to the APC elective positions instantly on a platter of gold?
Well, again, I don't want to personalize this thing. So my happiness or unhappiness is really irrelevant.
Yes.
What we're saying is this: control of the party structure should emerge through a democratic process.
Right.
And therefore, because democracy, proper democracy, should thrive on healthy competition. So let the new members come in and take their rightful place, and then let the party processes by which registration, congresses will be conducted and positions will be filled, be on a fair and equal basis of competition. Right. In other words, one man, one vote, equal representation before you get to that one man, one vote.
Yes.
Now, that did not happen in this case. I think the best way, perhaps, the most graphic illustration of this is what I heard Chief Mike Ahamba saying the other day, senior advocate. Now, he said you can compare what APC has done to a 100-meter race in which the preferred runner is placed at the 60th meter point, and you tell everybody, go to the starting block, and that is how you judge the winner of the race.
Yes.
I think that adequately captures what we're talking about.
Yes.
The new entrants to the parties were favored for reasons which the powers that be in the APC are in the best position to describe. They were the favored persons for whom they want control of the party to be vested in. And so right from get-go, when they got into the party, that situation had been created in which they immediately get primacy, and any subsequent action that follows will ensure that that primacy remains. That is the undemocratic nature of the process that we're complaining about.
Did you expect the party to ignore, as I said, the fact that these defectors were handing positions to the party on a platter of gold? You can't expect that people who are already in elective positions should not kind of have a priority within the party after defecting.
But they're not losing their elective positions. The governor of the state remains the governor of the state. The senators remain the senators. The members of assembly remain the members of assembly, and so on and so forth. Yes, but they don't lose their elective positions in government. It's their positions within the party we're saying. We're saying, okay, fight for your positions.
But isn't it the governor of a state that's always naturally looked upon as the leader of the party in the state, even though there's a chairman? The way it works across board, across the 36 states, is that the governor is seen as the arrowhead of the party he represents in that state. Well,
we're not quarreling with that, and I don't believe some of the other people who have a similar agitation as ours are actually quarreling with that. There must be a head, and especially in a situation where you want to form the party structure, you must have a head.
Yes.
But you create a situation whereby you say, okay, we must have a head, therefore this arrangement that we have is temporary.
Yes.
Okay? After we've gone through a process of election and competition, then that can be evened out. If that is the case, it may happen that the governor may come out even stronger.
Yes.
It may be that he's weaker. But this arrangement has predetermined the result from day one, okay, that yes, governor, you are in charge. But it's not that you are in charge on an interim or transitionary basis.
Yes.
It ensures that they're going to remain in charge even after the election. So the idea of any subsequent action, therefore, it's only geared and guaranteed to produce that result.
Since your defection was announced, has anyone from the APC reached out to you to reconsider?
Yes, yes.
Officially or unofficially?
Well, I don't know what you mean by officially. None of this is official.
Yes.
I mean, I've had people who have said, yes, listen, in politics, nothing is cast in stone, you know, and decisions taken on these matters should not be seen as final and irreversible, and therefore, yes, you should reconsider.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had quite a few like that, yes.
I know you've said it wasn't easy to leave a party you've nurtured to this point. So before reaching that decision to defect, did you reach out to the leadership of the APC to express your concerns about the direction you thought they were heading?
Yes, we did in a number of ways. We reached out to individuals. We reached out collectively. We wrote petitions. We issued press statements. So we did reach out as best as we can.
Yes.
But it was all to no avail.
When you say all to no avail, they didn't consider your concerns, or, I mean, I'm just thinking of a situation where probably they assured you that, look, don't worry, your ticket is safe. That ticket you had in 2011 will remain yours because you are first in line within the APC.
Well, there was never that assurance, and we never sought that assurance.
Right.
So nobody gave it, and we never asked for it,
Right.
and we never expected it.
Right.
And the issue of the guarantee of the ticket,
Yes.
for me, really has nothing to do with this. Even though when people want to disparage me personally,
Yes.
or disparage what we've done, they would say, oh, it's because the ticket has been given to somebody else or not.
Yeah.
But it's got absolutely nothing to do with that, as I'm saying. What we're saying is that whoever gets the ticket,
Yes.
or whoever gets to control the party, let that control emerge through a fair, transparent process that bears the will of the rank and file of the party. So should that sort of situation been in place, and we vie and we lose out, well, there will be absolutely no basis to complain. But that was not the situation. I mean, it's as if, you know, someone ties your hands behind your back,
yes.
then throws you in the boxing ring and say, all right, go and box and compete. What chance?
Yeah.
So we didn't have a chance to meaningfully compete. And I think that is what Governor Chekaro is saying. That is what Governor Bafara is saying. So our situation in Kwara is not in any way different. It's not unique. All what everybody's saying, and I think that analogy of the 100-meter race that Chief Ahamba mentioned essentially is alluding to that the competition is unfair from day one. That is a critical issue here.
At the time the party was going around trying to drum up support, so to speak, for the party before we saw this gale of defections, I'm just wondering, were you invited to come along? Did you go on those trips? And if you did, when they went to Kwara State, Were you there with them? Did you have any opportunity at that time to have a say?
I was not consulted. And if you read statements by Governor Shekarau, by Bafara, and some of the people in Adama, they will also tell you that there was no consultation. There was no consultation before, during, and even immediately after. If there were any discussions or consultation, it was after discontent has become open and had been voiced out. That was the first time there was some form of engagement.
All right. We'll take our first break now. Join us again after the break.
Who knows abi better thing? Abi who no like better thing? All these fine things wey dey see so. Na money government dey take do am now. Abi, as in, it's like, I mean, excuse me, I dey pay my tax. I dey do wetin? I dey pay my tax. Say you don't pay your own tax. Have you pay your tax?
Pay your tax. It's your civic responsibility. It's your duty. It's the law.
Welcome back. If you've just joined us, it's 60 Minutes with me, Angela Jetumobi. On my hot seat today, Dele Belgore. Now, Mr. Belgore, you've said that it's unfair for the structure of the APC in Kwara State to be handed over to those you allege had been, quote, oppressing and impoverishing residents of the state, end of quote. I say, in your opinion, because it looks to me that the people of Kwara State seem to be happy where they are.
Well, you are the one asking the question, so
Yeah.
I can throw questions at you. But if I could,
Yes, you would say?
I would say, what gives you that idea that the people of Kwara seem to be happy where they are?
Because some people have been in control of Kwara politics for 40 years. And that's probably what the APC is looking at. Who wants to change a winning formula?
Well, yes, you're quite right. That may be what APC were looking at. As a matter of fact, when the APC went to market the Kwara State governor, and his aides,
Yes.
the governor and several others on that occasion kept talking of an election-winning machinery that they have.
Yes.
I mean, what do you mean by an election-winning machinery? You're not talking about popularity with the people. You're not talking about good governance. You're not talking about how whether you've improved the lives of the people in the 40 years that well, then you talk about an election winning machinery. To me, that smacks of arrogance. That smacks on talking down on the people. It says, look, it doesn't matter
what anyone
thinks, but yeah. we have an election winning machinery in this state, and we will give it to you. Read between the lines. That means by hook or by crook,
yes.
We do this thing over 40 years. We continue to do it, so you can be rest assured that you're going to get it. The reality, of course, is that if elections are about popularity,
yes.
if elections are free and fair, and if people's votes are counting, and you assume that most people would behave rationally.
Yes.
And given a straight choice between a person who has been in the hem of affairs, in a situation where you feel that your life has not improved,
yes.
It has been impoverished, placed against somebody who comes in and says, we want to change things. You can do better. Look at what it's happening in other places. Okay, those people there don't have two heads.
Yes.
You can do better. You
yes.
deserve better. It is your right to get better. That people will want to gravitate towards that.
Yes.
But if you essentially rubbish all of that and just say, oh, we have an election when machinery, what you're essentially saying is that, look, it don't matter what the people think. It doesn't matter what elections are being conducted. We have the machinery, okay,
yes,
to make sure we stay in power. That is what we are against.
Yeah. Were you surprised that, contrary to what happens normally, you know, when people defect, the APC handing over the party structure not to the governor of the state, who is the implied leader of the party?
Well, I don't know the inner details of it, but my information is that the control is handed over to the governor of Kwara State, like in everywhere else. But the governor has voluntarily, of his own will, you know, maybe ceded it to Senator Saraki,
right,
who is the one they call the leader.
Are you friends with Senator Saraki, Bukola Sakari?
Yes.
Acquaintances? Childhood friends?
Well, I've known him for a number of years. I would say I've known Senator Sakari for about 30 years.
Are you on talking terms presently?
I'm on talking terms presently, yes, because he came to see me talking about
your defection?
No, this was before we defected, and he wanted to see how we could try and work within that arrangement.
Yes.
So to that extent, you could say we're on talking terms. But as I've always said repeatedly,
yes,
there's nothing personal
about
this thing.
Yeah.
I don't have anything personal against Senator Saraki, and I'm sure if you ask him, he'll probably say he has nothing personal against me. But that does not mean,
yes,
we necessarily agree on the politically and on the direction in which we should take, or Kwara State should be taken.
Considering that he spoke to you or spoke with you 2 weeks ago, when you finally made that decision to defect, did you speak with him? Did you let him know that you had made up your mind and you were moving on?
No, I didn't.
You didn't. And in moving on to the PDP, were any promises made to you to coerce you, for instance, into taking that plunge?
No, there were no promises made, and
did they reach out to you before you decided to
yes,
defect?
they did.
They did.
Yes, they did, and we agonized over the decision,
yes,
on whether or not to move.
To move.
As I said, it's not easy to move away from a party that you've nurtured. And when we say nurture, we had ACN being one of the legacy parties that became
the APC.
APC, of course. And we know from where we took ACN and to where we left it, or to now form the largest component,
yes,
of APC in Kwara.
Yes.
So it is not a natural thing to just readily want to walk away from that.
Yes.
And the decision, the defection of the 5 governors,
yes,
into APC, I think was in November.
yes,
Our own defection was announced in February.
yes.
So in all that time, you know, we were under a lot of pressure as to how, what next. If you recall, my first press statement, I addressed our supporters,
yes,
immediately after the defection of the 5 governors, because there was a lot of agitation from our supporters. It was, to them, it was not a welcome development, and they did not believe,
yes,
and they still do not believe, that it was a good omen for their quest for change in Kwara. But I went in, you know, addressed a group of supporters and told them, look, we are still in the APC, we remain in the APC, and we would fight for the change that we want, the course that we believe in,
yes,
within the APC. And so that's where we started out. Later, it became clear that we were just banging our heads on a brick wall, nothing was going to change.
The governors defected in November, you defected with your supporters in February. Between November and February, nobody made any overtures to you within the leadership of the APC?
No, there were overtures. They knew from what was said, from maybe petitions we've written, from private conversations we had from somebody else, and they could also sense the mood and of our supporters, that it was not a situation that we felt was just and was right in the circumstance. And yes, overtures were made, but they were not overtures in the sense that it said, okay, you know, we don't like this arrangement, let's see how we can work through it and change it. The overtures were, okay, please try and accept this arrangement.
That was the only option.
That was the only option.
And I'm still trying to look at it from the APC's point of view, because if you're looking at the practical aspect of this, all the members of the House of Reps, all the members of the Governor's Executive Council, the Speaker of the State House of Assembly, 21 members of the State House of Assembly, 16 chairmen of the local government areas, 194 councillors, all moved to the APC. How would you have hoped the APC would manage that number of people defecting who are in office?
Well, you see, first of all, numbers can give you a completely distorted picture of events. First of all, in 2011, we had the elections, which we challenged all the way up to the Supreme Court. Our belief and the belief of a vast majority of our supporters and people in Kwara and beyond was that that election was fraudulent, and that the right candidates, the candidates that were announced and installed in office, were not the ones that won the election.
Right.
Okay, I don't want to say too much
about that.
Too much about that. Therefore, if that is the case and that is the belief, then when you start saying they come in with 24 councillors, 16 local government chairmen, X number of councillors, X the 24 members of the House of Assembly, you get a distorted figure. Don't forget, out of that 16 local government chairmen is the chairman of our local council, whose election we only had recently in October last year. If you recall, that was the notorious election in which a councillor who was declared the winner came out to say that he didn't win. Ofa became notorious for that because that was an isolated election. What happened in Ofa is what a lot of us allege happened with regard to the others. When we look at figures, let's try and read beneath them and try and understand them for what they are.
Do you think moving to the PDP will help you realize your political ambition?
Well, moving to the PDP for us gives us a fighting chance to pursue whatever course it is we have, which is a course for change. And any ambitions that may come in pursuing that course, it's obviously secondary. But we have a fighting chance. The result or the outcome has not been predetermined. That is where we find ourselves now.
And of course, you know, you're going to meet with people who are already in the PDP. Some people also who have been nurturing dreams about future political ambition. Now that you left the APC because of those who came in and say, you know, the APC is undemocratic, How do you think your defection in the PDP will be handled and seen by those who are already in the party?
Well, so far it's been handled quite well.
Have you met with the national leadership of the party?
Yes, we've had meetings with the local party and with the national leadership. I'm not talking of one-on-one meetings,
yes.
But as a group, yes. We're not coming into the PDP for any privileged status. We're coming in for a level playing field, and a chance to compete. You see, and as I always at pains to point out,
yes.
this is not about me.